I think we're live.
Shocker.
So we've been laughing about doing a cold open where Luddy just goes on a profanity-laced tirade and then just walks off and goes, that's our show. But then we'd have to do, what, 59 minutes of silence?
No, I was just going to walk off, get in the elevator, and go to the car.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going down to the bar. It's still open.
We've got ad reads. We've got Herman Marshall.
You can handle it all.
Yeah, well, this is the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show. That's as good as it gets. Let's see what happens from here. Yep. We're not going to be laughing about AHA tonight, at least not to start, but maybe in the chat. By the way, Sam was feeling under the weather, so he went home. So he won't be here for the post-game show. Instead, you get Luds.
I'm feeling under the weather, too.
Well, I think we all are after what we watched.
That game sent Sam home.
He just picked up right where they left off from the other night.
The first period sent me onto a death spiral of eating our Friendsgiving leftover desserts. And I think if you compared Chicago Blackhawks goals tonight and various dessert items that I consumed, I think I win. I think it was over 6. But we'll get into that, and we'll see how the stomach feels later. Hopefully better than Sam. Get well soon, Sam. All right, let's get right to this one. Remember, we're going to do the chat in our third segment. We will see what you have to talk about. I have had a lot of people on Twitter angry about Steve's spot.
Oh, that's the whole chat right now.
And the power play. So we'll get to that.
Was Spot in net tonight?
I believe he was not playing goalie tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just making sure.
Well, we're going to talk about that in our chat. So if you have it, get your super chats ready because I know everyone's all fired up about the Stars power play. Luddy, unfortunately, the Dallas Stars did not start on time. Or maybe it was just Casey DeSmith because the Chicago Blackhawks scored 17 seconds into the game. Taylor Hall, his third of the year from Philip Kurashev and Alec Martinez, on an entry rush wrist shot from the left circle that should be a routine save for an NHL caliber goalie.
Yeah, the only thing I think that Taylor Hall did on that is, all players are doing it. I think goalies are ready for it. Is he gets it on his forehand, then he pulls it in between the stick and the feet. And sometimes I think it maybe throws a goalie off, but every player is doing it so much. I think they're kind of ready for that. But yeah, I mean that was not a good goal to give up, and there was no part of this game where you want to try to jump on a team that's been down for a long time or for a period of time. It was just the other way around. The
one thing about that shot that can be tricky is that he did it low glove. It's one of those spots, right? They call them the 7-hole, which is over the pad, under the glove. The same thing on the other side, over the pad, under the blocker. Those are supposedly tough spots for goalies because they have to try to drop their hands. And NHL shooters are very good at hitting spots. That being said, NHL goalies should be making that save.
Where's Sean Shapiro when we need him right now?
I know, right?
I don't think that puck shouldn't go in.
No,
shouldn't go in.
All right. Well, unfortunately for the Stars, it got worse 5 minutes later as Hall scored again, his second of the period and his fourth of the year. So half of his season total to that point came against the Dallas Stars. More on that later. This one came on the top of the crease. Ryan Donato made a really nice play.
Yeah.
And Hall was at the front of the net and he scored. But this is all on, unfortunately, Casey DeSmith again.
Yeah, we did a little breakdown on this one. And, when you get an opportunity to take a look at it from outside of the zone, when the puck enters, when it goes behind the net, it comes in from Brendan Smith's side. In other words, the left side. Brendan was on the left-hand side. And Brendan Smith stops. He stops on the wall on that side, right around the bottom, top, middle of the circle. And then when you look at it, DeSmith is behind the net with the puck. And then Dumba goes to the front, but then he bails out to the right side for an outlet pass. But as soon as DeSmith gets the puck, he's facing Brendan Smith. And I was wondering why it took him so long to get back to the front of the net when there was a turnover. And I think he was anticipating that the puck may go back to him and move it where it came from sometimes. And Smith had a different idea, so he ends up throwing it behind him, and which unfortunately was behind Dumbo also. Now, I'd said this in that little breakdown. This isn't an excuse, but sometimes you got to kind of think of these things, is that all three of those guys played on different teams last year.
That's
they did
true.
not play with this goaltender last year. Now, yes, they played 20 games this year. They practice, but sometimes the communication, between the goalie and the defenseman is always something you're always working on, and how to verbiage and things like that. But I just think they both kind of were confused on where DeSmith was going to go with the puck. When he does, he throws it. Dumba can't handle the puck behind him, and Donato gets it and Taylor Hall standing all alone in front of the net and makes a little move and tucks it in.
And the reason why that went in is because Donato got to his spot after the turnover, and he got it to the net really quickly. If he had taken his time, Smith would have recovered, maybe Dumba would have, and it wouldn't have had that lane. But he played it fast, and nobody could recover.
Well, and the thing about that, how teams forecheck now, they come down the walls. The first two forecheckers take the rims away, and the third guy kind of reads it from there. And so when a goaltender throws it like that, it's going to be a tough play for defenseman regardless. You're hoping that a defenseman gets it and he pops it right to the middle. So the centerman kind of come low and slow, and that's your outlet. But when the puck turns over, everybody, there were three guys out of position.
Ilya Mikheyev caused a lot of trouble tonight for the Stars defense, and he had a high danger chance. He had an open wrist shot from the inside of the left circle. DeSmith made a really good save, but giving up 2 goals, then that, it felt like the team was reeling. Then Dallas got a high danger chance, and it was Jason Robertson. Rebound.
You sound surprised.
Well, because tonight they were few and far between, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
And Wyatt Johnston, I thought, played his best Joe Pavelski game in a while. Was he dominant? No. But Wyatt was noticeable for me, Luddy, in the areas where you need to tip pucks. Yeah. And he had a lot of puck deflections tonight, and he created some chances and a goal because of it. So he had a tip play in the low slot on a Miro Heiskanen shot, and the rebound kick to Robertson at the left side of the crease, and Mrazek made a sprawling save. If he gets that, it's 2-1. And look, I know we say this a lot of, you're staying too positive. It could have been a completely different hockey game because the rest of the period, Dallas was the better team as far as creating chances. They spent a lot of time in the Chicago zone, but they end up at the end of 20 minutes with nothing to show for it.
Well, that little moment that you're talking about kind of tilts the momentum a little bit. You get something to kind of hang your hat on for a little bit, and you never know what's going to happen, but it doesn't work out that way all the time, and it didn't.
Right, here's why I'm saying this. So after 20 minutes of play, the shots on goal are 9-9, but the chances were 11-7 Dallas. Now, Chicago had a 3-1 edge in high danger chances, which are the more important ones, right? You want to pile up scoring chances, but if you're not getting inside, you're not getting those grade A's, then you expect your goalie to make those saves, usually, except for tonight. And so, while Dallas had some volume, I didn't think in that first period they got inside very much. It was really the one time from Robo. That was it.
You can usually tell when you think back and you think about how many little flurries are around the other goaltender, like that second and third whack at a puck. And it was more one and dones tonight, and it really never got inside. And sometimes you got to give credit to the other, the other team, the defensemen that are trying to, take care of that area. And they did a well enough job to let their goaltender scramble around and grab the rebounds.
Look, we are going to talk about it in the chat later. The power play is struggling right now. That's not up for debate. They are. They did get a goal tonight. We'll talk about it. But the talking point later will be about who's responsible and how you deal with it, whose head should roll, if any. But that first period power play, Luddy, no shots, no scoring chances. It was 2 minutes that came and went.
It just seems every time they go in the zone, make an extra pass, puck gets knocked down or tipped, turned over, and it goes the other way. They're spending too much time chasing back to their own end or out to the neutral zone to regroup. And, you say about spending time, they come so hard up through the middle of the ice and they're trying to enter the zone with speed. Well, the next thing you know, they got to turn around and chase it all back down and do it again.
So after 20 minutes of play, and again, another stat that, again, this is not just stats. We could tell the Chicago got a couple of goals on the first couple of shots of the game, and all of a sudden Dallas is behind at the end of a road trip. No excuses, but they had a 27-15 edge in shot attempts, Dallas did, and the Stars had a 13-3 advantage in faceoffs. Usually when you start with the puck on plays, usually when you get more pucks at the other team's net, good things will happen. But it didn't happen that first period.
Yeah, if there's follow-up plays, there's no sustained time that is being played in that dirty area right in front of the goaltender.
Then a power play at the end of the period as Wyatt Johnston was called for holding, which was definitely a holding.
Yeah.
Took his hand off his stick and got it around, and that's a hold. They had a carryover into the start of the second period, and Connor Bedard, who had not scored in 12 games, last goal was against the Stars, the first meeting between Dallas and Chicago this year on October 26th. 12 games without a goal, and he scores and breaks that drought with his fourth of the year at 41 seconds. So first period, they score 17 seconds in. Second period, 41. Tyler Bertuzzi gets the assist. Bedard's goal, wrister on the right dot. He beats DeSmith short side high. Look, he's got a elite level shot.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But whenever your goalie gets beat short side high or short side anything, there's always some questions.
Yeah, I mean, but there are times when you just got to give credit to the shooter, and Bedard is that guy. I mean, very Stamkos-like. You know, Stamkos has scored 500 and some goals, and a lot of them go in that same spot. I look at the whole thing, and on that play when it came around the wall, Colin Blackwell was coming off the wall, and the puck goes out near the point, and I just think that what you have to do is you have to go to the middle first. And what he did is he chased Bertuzzi, who had the puck, but he was on the board side of chasing him. Instead of going to the middle of the ice, make Bertuzzi turn or drop it to that defenseman and kind of come back down the wall.
Tell everybody why going to the middle of the ice and then coming out to pursue the puck carrier makes a difference versus trying to make a more direct, straight line from where you are.
Yeah, well, I mean, anytime you can take it, again, just imagine the face-off ducks that go up and down the rink. You want to, and we with our guys, I'll take a marker and I draw it all the way through the neutral zone from one end to the other end, basically break down the middle of the ice from dot to dot. Try to say, we need to own this ice. We want to keep people on the perimeter. We don't want to give people that, because that's where they want to get to. Anytime you see a forward come across the offensive blue line on a one-on-one or whatever it may be, and if his feet ever stop, it's because he doesn't like where you are. And he wants you to slow your feet down. He wants you to kind of come to him a little bit. He wants you to come to the wall side of where he is so that he can get to the middle of the ice. It's where everybody wants to be. You have a better shooting angle from that area. So on this particular play, when Blackwell goes to the board side on Bertuzzi first, he opens up the middle of the ice. So Bertuzzi turns, and now he's kind of coming down the pipe, and that's when the play, and that's when Bedard gets the puck. And the bottom line is it's a dangerous shot for that player. There's a lot of other players that is not, but you expect your goalie to get a piece of that. Now, if DeSmith would want that one over, but again, he puts it right underneath the bar. So like I said, sometimes you give credit to the shooter. It'd be interesting to see if that particular goal, what a goalie coach would say. And again, it's about perspective, so.
Now, Luddy just gave a very detailed, in-depth analysis of protecting the middle of the ice, forcing the power play outside or the shooter, whether it's 5-on-5 or not. The one part I'd like to add, only just because we were talking about it off air, is if you get to the middle and then come out, you're going out in the shooting lane. Mm-hmm. If you are chasing from a different angle, there's still a lane to the net, and you're not disrupting the shooter's ability to get the puck through.
Well, when you're in the middle of the ice, and because typically on a power play, they're looking for a better play all the time. Well, case in point, we'll talk about Dlls.
Yes, we will.
But even if you can get that puck, that player, say it's Bertuzzi, and Blackwell takes a different route, he has to move the puck across the ice or he goes back down the wall. When you're killing a penalty, it's one thing. When you're on the power play, the enemy is, yes, it's the penalty killers, but it's also the clock. They're always thinking about time on the clock. How much time do we have? The last thing they want to do is get it to the perimeter again, then try to work it back into the middle of the ice. So that's why you want to take the middle away, get them to move up and down the wall with the puck.
At this point, it's 3-0 Chicago. They've scored in the first minute of the period twice already, one in each of the first two. We're going to break down the rest of what was a less than stellar second period and third next here on the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show. But first, let's talk about Sleeper. It's the best fantasy league platform out there. You can put your puck knowledge to the test by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players will have more or less than their projected stats each week. For Turkey Day tomorrow, the Miami Dolphins are traveling to chilly Green Bay. but I still have Tyreek Hill with an anytime touchdown. 2.14 times your money if he scores in pay dirt. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries. Stay ahead of the game and keep track of league updates in real time so you're always informed and ready to outsmart your friends. If you think you have what it takes, download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLS STARS to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Now let's talk about Empire Today. With Empire Today, not only do you get shop at home convenience, you get the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and of course, a low price guarantee. There are many, many copycats out there, but none of them can beat Empire's quality, service, speed. A lot of competitors will advertise lower prices, but they give you an inferior product. Empire won't carry these. Why would you try to put flooring in your house that those guys offering lower prices wouldn't put in theirs? Well, use their virtual floor designer. If you want to get a good look of how the floors would look in your home, snap a photo and instantly see that reaction of whether it looks right for your home or not. Scheduling a free in-home estimate today, all listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DLLS for details. All right, back to the game recap. And Letty, this one didn't get much better for the Stars because down 3-0. I remember after the first period, I looked at you and I said, if I'm Pete DeBoer, I go into the dressing room and I say, more like that. Because by the end of the period, even though they're down 2, they were more puck possession in the offensive zone, more shots, more attempts. It just felt like a matter of time before Chicago, a team that has not done very well, 2-5-1 in their last 8, falls apart.
Well, the last thing a player is going to do, especially in a presser at the end of the game, and say, we deserve better, our goaltending wasn't that good. And that's it, but it's the truth. Like, you look at a couple of those goals, and it shouldn't have been that. And you got to give credit to the other goaltender at the other end. He had to make a couple of saves on them, too. So it'd be more like, we got to keep going, guys. We got to throw some more pucks. We got to get a couple second and third opportunities at it. But, yes, I agree with you that they can't go in there because they know. They know that the goaltending wasn't what they expect.
Yeah, you're going to probably hear from Pete or anybody that he might want that one back. That's the old hockey code.
That's the polite way of saying it, right?
It wasn't a good goal, but they won't say, oh, they were soft. It was, yeah, I think there's a couple he wants back. How much of a detriment is it to concede that power play goal to Bedard inside the first minute of the second period when you need something to get a spark and it goes the other way like that?
Yeah, anytime you're giving up a goal late or early in periods, it's always a bit of a kick in the, the groin. But I mean, when you need that I believe
you could refer to that as the Zuccarello right now.
Okay, yeah. Anytime you're looking for some hope, and I think the goaltender is waiting for you to bail him out too. When that thing, I'm not on my game or however he decides to look at it, but you're looking for a little bit to give you a little bit of a spark.
So it's 3-0, and you're just thinking, you get something.
Just get something in the first 5-10 minutes of the period. Yeah. And
they give up a 4th. Teuvo Teravainen gets his 6th of the year from Bertuzzi and TJ Brody at 3:06. So not only did they give up 2 goals in 5:43 of the first period, they give up 2 more in the first 3:06 of the second period. It's 4-0. It's a wrist shot in the high slot, and it's not a high danger chance. It's one of those goals that's not from a great position, but it looked like there was a massive friendly fire screen of Brendan Smith coming across Casey DeSmith. I don't think he saw it very well, and for Cobb, it feels like the game's all but done and dusted.
Well, it started earlier than that. It started when the puck came around the wall, and it was Matt Dumba. He needs to stop on that puck. I think he's kind of hoping as the puck comes around the wall, it's going to hit him or somehow he can corral it and keep it going. You have to know that there's somebody behind you, but he doesn't stop on the puck. So the next thing you know, he beats it. And and again, I'd mentioned to you, I said, when you watch Marchman come down the wall and Sagan come back into the zone, I don't think they were sensing anything bad. Anytime the puck is in your zone and it's not on somebody's tape, you have to think something bad could happen. I got to be in the right spot.
They were coasting into position because the body language suggests we've got this under control.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like when Marchment comes down the wall, and so you've got, you got a player between you and then you got your defenseman there. He's hoping that he's going to probably pick it up. He's going to take a couple steps behind. I'm going to stand the wall. He's going to get the forward to chase me as a defenseman, and then it's just a reverse to him. Or it's going to go to Tyler in the middle of the ice. One of the couple are typically your play. And if Dumba stops on the puck, at least you keep things there on the wall. But he keeps on going. He doesn't get the puck, and that's how you end up getting off the wall.
It's 4-0, but the Stars did get one back because Colin Blackwell, who hadn't played in the last 5 games as a healthy scratch, played for the Blackhawks, actually scored his first career NHL goal as a Nashville Predator at United Center years ago. Scores for the second time this season on a rebound at the left side of the crease. And this is exactly the kind of thing you need from your fourth line, which is you get a shot from Miro from the circle, you crash the net, and you slam it home. And he actually beat a Chicago defender to the crease on a position where he should not have been able to win that puck.
Well, I think that was Teravainen, same one that just had scored the goal. But first off, I mean, Steele and Bork are standing in front of the net, so give them credit that they're at least at the front of the net. They're taking some eyes away too and causing a little bit of havoc. But yeah, Blackwell just skates right past Teravainen because Teravainen wasn't sensing any danger there either. But credit that line, and you're right, that fourth line is, they're an energy line, and that's one way to give your club some energy is score a goal.
Craig Smith draws a penalty as this is only 6.5 minutes into the second period. Brendan Smith gets called for hooking. It may have denied Craig Smith of a better scoring chance. He did force a save, but Stars go shorthanded, and they get a great opportunity to cut the lead in half. It's a 2-on-1 with Harley and Johnson. They do a little give and go. Mrazek makes a good save, but he never looked like he was scrambling. He seemed like he really read the play well, and the goalie, Mrazek, and never overcommitted. He
never lost his net, it seemed like tonight. When he had to move left to right, he stayed within a certain area that if it came back again, he was able to recover.
So they don't score on that. Is there anything you would have wanted to see them do differently? I mean, they move the puck quickly, a little side to side. That usually makes it harder for a goalie.
But is that the one that Wyatt gave back to Harley off to Mrazek's left, right?
It was the Stars' offensive right circle.
So as a defenseman, you don't want the shot coming down the pipe. Because that's the toughest save, obviously, for the goalie. So I think the defenseman did an okay job. Once it comes in and you got the two guys. And again, well, I guess it's hard to say. I was going to say, who do you want shooting that puck? Do you want Wyatt Johnson or Harley? But Harley can put him in the net too. But once he moved it to the side, and a goaltender has enough time to get from where he is set up in front, so the puck was moved further enough away from him so that he could get off to his left and then take that away.
Still on the same Chicago power play. Stars penalty kill on this one was immaculate, right? No chances. They had spent about, the final 30 seconds of the power play with the puck tied up in the corner. They had 3-on-2 down low defensively. Everything was exactly how you coach it up. Until the power play expired, they lost it somehow, went right to the net, and it was Craig Smith creating havoc, and Taylor Hall gets his hat trick and finishes wide open. I mean, this was a major breakdown after the Stars were perfect for 2 minutes of penalty kill.
Yeah, and right at the end of it, I mean, Wyatt, when they're down there in the corner, Harley kind of pushes into the pile, so he kind of falls in the pile. But Wyatt was stuck on the wall. Like, instead of being on the middle of the ice side of the player, he's on the wall, and the player comes off the wall, has got the open ice to take it to the net. So, it's just a positioning thing. And it was one of them kind of things tonight where it was just a positioning thing, and if it wasn't that, it was a goaltending thing.
It got worse because Hall's goal at 8:42, 5 minutes later, a little less than 5 minutes later, it makes it 6-1 as Louis Crevier, the big young defenseman, scores his first NHL goal in the slot from Ilya Mikheyev. I said it earlier, Mikheyev was good tonight. Yeah. He was very noticeable, and he, again, drives wide, and they did not make the Dumba-Smith defensive pairing look good on this play. They had a couple of times tonight where they didn't look very good, and this one, cutting back across, nobody saw Crevier. He was wide open.
Nobody looked for Crevier.
No.
So all I wrote down was Dumba-Smith with a question mark.
A big question
mark.
And
then in a box, I put brutal defending by both of them. Because, I mean, I can't sum it up any worse than that. I don't know what Dumba didn't do anything on that.
Do you remember how
Smith
that play started?
No. It should have started by leaving him in the dressing room.
It started in the Chicago zone, and Mikheyev got an outlet pass, and he was 1-on-2. And you showed me a still shot of this. Or you
that was the
pause
change
video.
when guys are,
and
yeah.
Duchesne is at the offensive blue line with 4 Chicago Blackhawks behind him. So he raises his hand and goes to the bench for a quick change because he realizes my D have a 2-on-1 advantage. This is not a risky change at that moment.
Which ultimately looked like a 2-on-2 when it came across center ice, and then there was another player that was standing up a little while. It didn't even turn into a 3-on-2. It was supposed to be like a 2-on-2, even like a 1-on-2, but it was just awful. It was awful defending. Matt Dumba lets him slide by, and then Brendan Smith, I'm not sure what he was doing when he kept on coming like all the way across, down between Dumba and Casey. And so anyway, you ain't going to draw that one. That's a highlight reel you're hoping they're going to lose tomorrow.
Ilya Mikheyev, again, with a high danger chance. This time he drives onto the crease on the backhand. It was too easy for him to get to the net tonight. And great save by DeSmith. Tyler Seguin, at the end of the period, had a really great opportunity to cut the lead to 4. That sounds really good, doesn't it? As he set up a one-timer on a delayed penalty call. Mrazek made a phenomenal save, and there was quite a little stare down between the two afterwards.
Yeah, well, I think Tyler was going, oh man, but I think Tyler's the kind of guy that
I thought he scored it.
But Tyler would also say, good save. You know what I mean? Like,
no, for sure.
Tyler's that kind of guy because it was a great shot. It was a great pass. It was a great shot. Mrazek read it right and got over. And again, that time goalie wins.
So it's 6-1 after 2, and you said to me right before the start of the third, I just want to see Dallas win this period. They're not going to win this game. They're down by 5. They didn't win the period. They actually, I mean, technically they did. They got the only goal. It was the Duchesne power play goal. We'll talk about that in a second. But it felt like this was a give-up period. And what I mean by that is in the first 2 periods, the Stars had a decided edge in scoring chances. They were trying to take the game to Chicago. In the third, it wasn't until some power play time, because the Stars had 2 power plays, had a couple of chances, only 1 high danger, which was the goal. And it didn't feel like they had that same. It kind of felt like they had sort of conceded a bit.
Yeah, you could. The meter was really low. It was like, we want to get out of here. We want to get on the plane and get home.
They had a power play. Duchesne had a wrister, and so did Seguin from the left side. Mrazek made the save on both of those. But they got another one as Taylor Hall was called for slashing at the 13-minute mark. And Duchesne gets a goal, his 12th of the year, team leading, from Johnston and Robertson to make it 6-2. I know it's window dressing at this point, right? It's cosmetic. It doesn't matter. But what was it? It was a shot that got tipped by Johnston. It didn't make it to the net. It got blocked. But Duchesne goes to the crease and slams in the rebound. That's what you're looking for on the power play.
Well, the key was Robo got in there, wanted to take a shot. But Wyatt, where he sets up in front of Mrazek, is he's right on top of the crease. So you set up a foot or 2 outside the crease, Mrazek can come down. He's got a little more space. Wyatt keeps him in his net, and that's why when there's a rebound, it's right on the tape. And like Duchesne's been doing all year long, he doesn't make a mistake when he's in there.
Now, we're going to go to the chats here in just a minute, but just before we do, you were 4 periods into this road, or excuse me, 5 periods into this road trip, thinking 4 points, possibly 6. Now you end up 3-game road trip with 2 points and probably pretty devastated that you didn't get at least 4.
Yeah, it's a difficult trip. And, there's a lot of things that they can drill down on. The problem with all this is the schedule. This is where coaches want to coach, and they want to get into the details and the guts to what's going on, the technical side and talk to a few players and things like that. But it's the way the schedule is. And so they're going to have to find a way to regroup, and they're going to have a couple of meetings, I'm sure, between now and then. But as far as getting out on the ice and working on things, you don't have a ton of time.
No, they have day off tomorrow, morning skate on Friday, and the Avalanche are in town on Friday night. They'll have a practice Saturday, at least on the schedule, and then they will play at home on Sunday afternoon against the Winnipeg Jets before going to Salt Lake City Monday. I mean, it is just nonstop. I sense we're going to have some power play questions in our chats.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Which is coming up next here on the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show.
But first, let's talk about Rugged Road. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Our products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. One of the most unique features of Rugged Road coolers is their ability to always float upright. Crafted and handle the toughest environments, their coolers are built to last, ensuring they can keep up with any adventure. The coolers are guaranteed to keep their contents cool for up to 7 days. Perfect for a variety of outdoor activities from fishing and tubing to camping and tailgating. These coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off.
Time for us to talk about HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Make this fall the tastiest season yet with their farm fresh produce and easy autumn-inspired recipes delivered right to your door. With HelloFresh, not only do they deliver pre-portioned ingredients, but you have easy homemade meals. All the proteins, veggies, sauces, spices, and more arrive in your box along with simple instructions to walk you through each step in the cooking process. And you can whip up tasty restaurant-style meals in your own kitchen without the high price tag of takeout and in less time than it takes to get delivery. Get 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com/free stars applied across 7 boxes. New subscribers only, varies by plan. That's 10 free HelloFresh meals just by going to HelloFresh.com/free stars. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. All right. I think we should address the elephant in the room because somebody was complaining on Twitter tonight to my account about the power play being rather, I believe the term was sucky.
That's it? Sucky?
I mean, there were probably some
That's
other
the best
words.
you got?
Well, there's probably some other words there. Abysmal, frustrating, embarrassing, terrible, blah, 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 blah. Somebody tweeted back at me and said that Steve Spott has to go, that the power play has been awful. And I quote tweeted him back and said, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Steve Spott is not the problem with the Stars power play.
Smoked him.
And guess what?
Ended him.
I got
Has not
comment
been heard
after
from.
comment after. Everybody's upset about it. They want me to explain. They don't agree.
I would like to hear you explain also.
Okay. So, and a lot of the comments were, boy, this power play has been awful ever since the Stars hired Pete DeBoer and Steve Spott. I saw one person post and don't get
Wait. Wasn't there power play on fire last year?
I will get to that. Don't get confused by this, but I had one reply post a comment from Reddit. Don't even worry about it, which is ridiculous, saying that the power play in Vegas when DeBoer was there with Spot was awful. Well,
you did some work, didn't you?
Oh, he's got printouts.
Oh yeah,
Here we go.
he's going to do some work.
I was going to tweet.
I can
this.
probably get home. I get in the car and go
home. You know
home
what I said? I decided I would wait till the show. Let's save the content.
Okay.
Let's not just give it away for free. Luddy, you mentioned something about the power play last year. Last year, the Dallas Stars power play for the regular season was 24.2%, which was the number 6 rated power play in the entire NHL out of 32 teams. The year before, they had a 25.0% power play. This was the 22-23 season, DeBoer's first season as the head coach. They ranked 5th. This year, coming into today's game, if you go back to 2022 to now, so the entire DeBoer era in the regular season, the Stars power play is the 7th best in the NHL. I am not saying that Dallas's power play is good right now. Far from it. It looks awful. But to say it's always been awful and it's the coach's fault is not the case. Now, there is a difference between someone being a problem, which he is not, and then being responsible for said power play, which they are. But how much of this goes to the players instead of the coaches?
Well, ultimately, it all goes on the players.
Thank you.
But
that's it.
But
it's on the players.
And I would also say that I don't feel that you put out all of it on Steve Spott, because it's not like this doesn't get run by the head coach, right? I mean, Spotter doesn't veto anything that Pete DeBoer says about the power play. You know, he can easily go, we're not putting this guy in the power play anymore, Steve. We're putting this guy out there, and Steve will go, okay. You know, so but I think they've got a record here of having a good top 10, top 7 power play over the last couple years and whatever it may be. So again, we talk about it all the time. Like, you know, there is a key component that's not here this year, Ding. I'm not even going to say his name anymore.
His name is Joe Pavelski.
Yeah. So, and again, you're probably going to go, well, Jesus, 40-year-old guy, but
violence tonight.
Joe did so much that went unnoticed in front of the net and tipping pucks and setting things up and making little plays and all this other stuff that they haven't found the replacement for him yet. And before Joe came along, I don't know what their power play was then either, but I'm sure it wasn't as good as it was the years that Joe's been here. So, but I think we're getting to a point, though, we're in game 20-something now. We're going to have to say, okay, well, Joe's not coming back, and you guys better figure it out, because when you're going to get to the playoffs eventually, it's special teams and goaltending. That's what wins you games in series, and so they're going to have to get it straightened out.
So I can admit that the power play is poor. That's not even a debate. Like, it's been bad, especially at home. Amazingly, their power play on the road is pretty good this year, but their home power play is the worst in the NHL, 32nd at home. They have a very good home record. They've lost on the AEC ice once. They lost their other home game in Finland. But Luddy, you mentioned talk about lack of practice time. What is the difference of being able to work on power play in practice versus a morning skate?
Hey, either way, to work on your power play against your own penalty killers or whatever you're using, sometimes it's 5-on-0, isn't like a game, because you're not going 100% in practice. You're not shooting pucks the way you would the one-timers and things like that in practice like you would in a game, because you don't want to hurt your own guys. You don't want to hurt your goalie. But, I mean, it's more about timing and where you're supposed to be and spots and stuff like that. And I've always said about power plays, the only way that a power play actually works when you draw it up is if the penalty killers are in the room with you from the other team, and you're drawing the X's and the O's, and they're the O's, and they're going exactly where you draw them, because they're the ones that can throw things off. So it's something that it's a timing thing. But the one thing that you want, whether one side or the other, whether it's a PK or a power play, penalty kill, whatever it is, you want it to at least create some momentum, so that when it's over, whichever one it is, especially a penalty kill. I mean, when a penalty kill does a good job, there's a little boost on the, on the bench. And when you come up for your next shift and it's a 5-on-5 shift, you feel good about it. It's the other way around for a power play. If you're creating chances, you're getting scoring chances, the goaltender's making great saves, that's still a boost. But when it's not and it drains you, that's even worse than not scoring the goal on that, because it becomes the responsibility of typically the third or fourth line guys, because they're not part of the power play, to come out and try to grab a little momentum back from not doing anything on the power play and get you back on track.
Hey, John, let's do one thing. So get your sounder ready.
Okay.
Because I think the fans' theme tonight is "The Sky is Falling."
Well, that
That's the wrong
sucks.
That one also applies, though.
That
Well,
does.
that sucks.
That's new.
The sky is falling.
There we go. Let's go back to the beginning of the chat here, because I want to emphasize a few of these. JT, if Steve Spott were a good coach, all caps, we would go 4 for 4 on the power play tonight and only lose 6-5. This is clearly a Steve Spott problem. So you see what we're working with here.
Hey,
I have
that's
a
your
question
opinion.
for you guys.
That's
What's
okay.
that?
I have a question for you guys, and this might just be me stupid not knowing things. So when I got this job, I started researching the stars and all this stuff. And one thing I came across, it might have even been a Sean Shapiro article, was about Pete DeBoer in Western Conference Finals over multiple teams. So with San Jose, I think twice with Vegas, and then with Dallas. And the power play disappears in these Western Conference Finals. As far my understanding is that Steve Spott is the coach for all of those. Why is that? What is that trend? Why does that? Is that just them going up against buzzsaws when they get to that point? And I know it's November, and the producer's asking you about the Western Conference Finals.
I mean, there was a big storyline, Luddy, last year of you can't go 0 for the power play. 0 power play goals in the conference final and expect to win. Now, a lot of people praised Edmonton's penalty kill for being extremely aggressive and very effective. And it was. But both things can be true, that your power play wasn't good enough and they were really good. I don't have an answer for that. Do you?
Well, I say this all the time. When you're in the playoffs, coaches have to find ways to adjust and to change, because that's what your opponent's supposed to do. Is they're going to try. You play the same team every other night for 14 days, and there has to be adjustments made, especially when you got a couple teams that are pretty even. And so you're trying to take a little momentum away here. You have to try to find a way to have a team do something different than what their A plan is. And so Dallas now, here's what you can do. You can take your third line guys that don't get on the power play. The next game they get out there and put your third line guys out there and go tell them to play it like it's 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Just go play, create momentum, pucks go in, crash the net, and start getting a couple chances. And because what it does the most is it bothers this, 6 or 7
Your
guys.
Power play guys.
Yeah, because they're not getting out there, right? And it pisses them off. So send your third line guys out there. Send your fourth line guys and say, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to roll the lines now. We're just going to roll it. You piss them off. And then if nothing else is working, you got to try to do something else.
Not that quote, but the previous one from Willow. If you have that one you posted before, can you go back to that one? That one. Willow, who was on my Twitter tonight, demanding me to engage, and I said I would here on the show. Why is Steve Spott responsible for the power play, not accountable for how flat it has been since the players stopped carrying it partway through last season? Thoughts?
I mean,
is it too easy to blame the guy that's
he's not going to put the skates on and go out there and do it? So
here's my thing, Luds. I've played clips for you in the last couple weeks, both from Spott and from DeBoer, who have talked about the power play needs to be a shot first, get retrievals, and Pete even said this directly. Once you get the penalty kill out of its defensive structure, that's when the creative side can take over. How do you get your creative guys to show restraint and not try to overdo it?
You need a buy-in from your players to do that, because the only time that I ever really see them have that mentality, and I believe it's the right way to do it, is when you win the opening face-off. If you take the face-off in the offensive zone like that at the start of the power play, and instead of setting up, because what happens if you get the puck, and Lemiro did it tonight, he gets the puck back, he walks to the middle, and he shoots the puck at the net. What has to happen is the forwards got to get out and try to get in lanes, and they're coming out. The puck is passing them as his shot goes, and now we're going to the net. Now all of a sudden you're going to outnumber in front of the net. They have to have that mentality. If you haven't made a play, or there hasn't been something through the seam or some high quality scoring chance after 2-3 passes, get to the best spot you can, and we're going to the net. And that's our plan. And what we're going to do is the other 2 guys that are down low, they're going to gravitate to the front of the net, and the offside defenseman's going to gravitate to the net. We're just going to start creating opportunities off of rebounds, bad bounces, and we're going to have bodies there. But if you want to keep moving it around the perimeter, that's why sometimes I get upset. Like their first 2 entries, and they come down and they want to tic-tac-toe, and it doesn't work out. It gets turned over somewhere right away, and it goes back down the ice. There's another 15 seconds. Maybe after that, we got to get pucks in. We got to get 3 guys that go and get it. Start winning some battles, win some puck battles and some territorial battles there, and play like it's 5-on-5.
I'm seeing chat saying we should hire. Lyle says, I think Gerard Gallant should turn this team around. DeBoer is well known for his inability to change or deviate. I respect him as a man, but we will never win a cup with him at the helm. Gallant. That seems a bit of an overreaction after a night like tonight, right?
Yeah, but hey, they pay their money.
They do.
They can.
We're here to talk you off the ledge, right?
It is frustrating. I mean, it's frustrating for us.
It is.
We sit in there and we're frustrated. Like, oh my God, shoot the puck. God.
We laugh. I remember the other night we're doing the broadcast after the Carolina game, and somebody in the chat was like, "Why is Owen smiling and laughing so much?" Well, because if not, we'd probably want to go hang ourselves.
Here's what you guys are going to
games. We have to deal with this.
Here's what you guys are going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Next game, who we playing? Oh, Colorado. So we're going to see Cale Makar walk to the middle of the ice and let that bullet of a wrister go.
Yep.
We're going to see Nathan McKinnon get it on the half wall, and he's going to let that bullet go. He's going to make a couple passes here or here, or Rantanen. They're going to get to a point where they're going to shoot pucks at the net, and they're going to do it after 2 or 3 passes that break down. And that's just how they're going to approach it. And that's how I would like to approach it too, but I'm not there.
We do have 2 super chats, by the way.
Let's do those on the other side.
Perfect.
Here on the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show. But first, we do want to remind everybody that now would be an excellent time to sign up to be a diehard. Go to the website. We also have a QR code, perhaps. Either way, DLS, alldls.com. There's the QR code. You can scan that, and you can join the diehard program. Now, I'm not wearing a DLS shirt tonight. I only have a couple. I don't have like one for every night of the week. Luddy's got a great Thanksgiving jersey, but you can't get that at the DLS merchandise store. But what you can do is sign up to be a diehard, because I have heard that there's going to be some great Black Friday deals, maybe even starting earlier for diehards only, and then obviously for everybody once we hit Black Friday. Well, tomorrow's Cowboys Thursday, Thanksgiving. Maybe I don't have any of the details, but I would say keep your eyes and ears out for that. And if you aren't a diehard already, you should sign up. Sean had a great film room piece today that kind of broke down the team not being able to defend the middle of the ice as well as he would like. Luddy, you said, I agree with him completely.
I do.
So go to, it's great analysis. So go to alldls.com, sign up to be a diehard. Remember, you also get a promo code for one free t-shirt for each year that you subscribe to be a DLS diehard member. Lots of great features, merchandise, damn Discord channel, all that stuff.
And if you like toilet humor, the Discord channel was engaged in toilet humor tonight at the expense of mostly Casey DeSmith and a little bit of me. So,
speaking of John,
oh God,
I see some very angry and then very South Park humor between
South Park.
You and you know South Park a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the
in the chat are you referring to?
Yes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So John tweeted out, fellas, let's not start throwing around buds around in here. Most vicious insult on earth. And then we got to calm down, bud. We've got a you're not my buddy guy, which turns into the South Park, because then he says, don't call me buddy pal. I'm not your pal guy. Da 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 da. Is that about what it is?
Yes, my search function isn't working, so I can't pull it up right away. Yeah, it was, there was a lot of, it was an angsty chat tonight. You know, it started out, like, if we go all the way back to the beginning, like, you know, tonight should be a fun chat, zero room for excuses, lol, Cowboys are Dumbo, who's to blame, happy Thanksgiving from your Dallas Stars and all that. And then, you know, eventually things just boiled over, and I forget exactly who it was, but someone suggested something about the Rangers. There was a miscommunication about whether they were referring to the Texas Rangers or the New York Rangers. And then some relaxed buds got thrown around. Some don't call me buddy pal, but don't call me bud pal got thrown around, which that is, as someone from Boston, that's like you're looking for. If you said that, if you called someone bud in a bar in Boston, you're getting punched in the mouth. That's usually how it goes.
There you go.
Hey, bud.
Hey, bud.
So I see that, you know, the alarm, the siren goes up and everything. And, you know.
And they're always a little jumpy at sometimes, aren't they? All right. We have a couple super chats, so let's get to them.
Where's Bing Bong?
Bing Bong.
William W. Williams. A little Heiskanen and Stanley Cup 99 year. Bork isn't particularly helping offensively yet, and we need scoring. Will Pete lose patience and send him down? And who gets the call up if so?
That's a good question. I don't know who would get the call. Who would get the call? I mean, I think the guys they were high on are here.
Yeah, I mean the two guys. John, are you ready for the sounder? It was Cole Lind and it was R2 Huru.
R2D2.
I was not ready for the
He
sounder.
was not ready for that one.
Yeah, that one's not always. I kind of put it back in the system for when he gets called.
Is that solving the problem of scoring though?
No, it's like here's the thing. Maverick Bork had one game where he quote unquote popped and looked really good. I saw some little things tonight that I liked, but again, he's not the driver of the offense at the moment. No. Will he be eventually? Maybe, but not right now. But you have, I thought Stankoven wasn't quite as noticeable tonight as some.
You want a little tweak for your power play? Maybe throw him out there. He's supposed to be that kind of guy, right? Put him and Stankoven together.
Did you think Stankoven was a little bit more quiet compared to his lofty
this was one of the games that I can say that usually he stands out. And again, I'm not going to make excuses, but this isn't an easy schedule they got going on. So
it's not an easy league either.
Yeah, are they running a little low on fuel right now? I don't know, but it may be time to change it up a little bit. I don't think we don't want to do too much with the Duchesne group. They're always kind of doing that, but maybe you got to take a guy out, put a guy in, and maybe if you give Bork a little more opportunities offensively with one extra player out there, maybe that's where he gets his offense going.
All right, let's go to the next super chat.
Bing bong.
Marshall second with a little Miro and then the 99 Cup here. What is the bigger power play problem, zone entry or faceoffs? What do you think?
Well, I don't think it's
Spot.
fake. I don't think
Or
it's.
Steve Spot?
It's G-spot.
I don't think it's the face-offs. I mean, when Jamie's out there, usually, I mean, Jamie's close to 60% on draws in the power play. I don't think that's where the problem is. I just think they're not willing to change something on the entries at times. They could turn the puck over 3-4 times on their entries, and they're not going to change anything.
Yep.
So that's where I think that's where I think you have to make an adjustment. And because everybody scouts everybody. So now you can see it's getting a little bit more difficult on the entries because what they're doing, it's a copycat league. So they're finding out what are the things that gives Dallas a problem on the entries. So now when they know that the little tic-tac-toe, it's two things. I mean, usually it's Duchesne to Stankoven, or it's going to come up and it's go to the wall over to Marchman or Duchesne. So, I mean, to Tyler Seguin. So I mean, it's one of two things. And so you can kind of start to plan for that kind of stuff. And so you may have to, go a different route or maybe put a couple different guys out there and cause a little havoc. Make it a little bit more difficult in front of the net for the defenseman and the other team too.
All right. Do we have any more super chats?
Bing bang.
We do.
Last one.
Ardell. Hey, Ardell. A little Lundqvist and Sagan tonight. Is Casey DeSmith a concern now? You won't go far in this league without decent backup goalie play. Is he playing for his job Monday in Utah?
Well, we talked about it early, didn't we? we brought
did.
it up, and we kind of went back and thought about his starts. And, that's what you want from your backup. I mean, he needs to steal some games. He needs to give your guy a couple of good starts. That's getting the rest for that night.
And he did early in the season.
He's got to try to get you 12, 16 points during the year,
The last two games for DeSmith haven't been good.
No.
It was the Anaheim game at home. He had a couple of goals we didn't like. That one that was like a knuckler that he whiffed on, and then the shot from the right circle. Well, he gave up a shot from the left circle, but similar kind of thing where you'd like him to make that save.
What's the one where he kind of fell forward on?
That was was it Taylor Hall's hat trick goal? With the one where he came across?
Yeah,
and like
it could have been that one.
Almost
It
like
was
stuck in the ice a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. It was like he was diving at it or he was falling down and a pad
Swimming
got
a
stuck.
little bit.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Casey DeSmith signed a 3-year contract as the Stars' number 2 goalie in free agency this offseason. Now, it's a 3-year, $1.1 million AAV. You can bury $1 million in the AHL without any cap penalties if they wanted to. But you don't sign a guy to a 3-year contract if you're going to give up on him after a couple of starts. Now, Dallas does have Magnus Hellberg as a third option, but he's clearly the third option. So what it is, I know that he knew what he was signing up for as the backup, but he'd only played one start since the Finland trip.
Yeah.
And that was he'd come on in relief in Winnipeg, and then he played the Anaheim game. So last two starts has been one game out of every 4. Now he's going to get another chance to play most likely Monday because you would assume that Friday, Sunday, Colorado, Winnipeg will be Jake. So what do you got? That's 2 starts in a week. That should be fine. But here's the thing. I'm not looking for Casey DeSmith to steal you games all the time, although once in a while would be nice. But you can't be the reason why you lost.
Yeah, and also again, I'll blame it on Sean this time because he wrote an article about it. There is some things that happen in front of the goaltenders, the way that they play in their own zone at times that you have to make some incredible saves, and Jake has been doing that, and Ottinger's been really good at that, and so but I've seen times lately where there's some chances, and maybe it's a goal where Otter seems like what's happening here, and so. It takes a little getting used to, I think, but I don't think there's any excuse for, Casey tonight. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be the first one. It'd be interesting if we had to, a soundbite from him or somebody talking to him after the game tonight, because, these guys are stand-up guys. They're going to tell you they didn't have the kind of game. They're not going to blame anybody, and so I think he's probably going to be the first one to say that it wasn't a good performance.
There's a chat that I have to pat ourselves on the back because Too Cool for Hockey wrote, "Thank God Luds and Owen are here to calm me down on this embarrassing game." That's what we're here for.
Well, I don't think we're calming you down. We're agreeing with you.
Yeah, but we're talking off the ledge because as frustrating as this and the third period against Carolina is, it doesn't mean the sky is falling, right, John?
The sky is falling!
There we go. Apparently not.
Right? I mean, it's not, these things happen. Neither of us are thrilled by this result or the third period against the Hurricanes. But that doesn't mean that their season is over and they should blow up everything. There are teams that are going through much worse. This is a journey. Enjoy the wins. Try not to hate yourself too much after the losses. Now, if they go on a 5 or 6 game losing skid, that's a little different story.
Well, the problem with this whole thing is you're not sitting up here like Winnipeg and you got a buffer.
Right.
You know, Winnipeg lost. Did they lose 2 or 3 games in a row? Or
They lost
games?
a couple.
The couple, but they got a nice cushion built up.
They won 15 of 16
That's what
to
I'm
start
saying.
the year. That's a buffer.
But
buffer.
the good news is people that are behind you besides, I don't even know, maybe St. Louis will start creeping up. But
gotta watch out for Monty.
Yeah, Monty's got them 2-0 now. Is that right?
I'm just double checking. Yeah. How about this? 3-0 shutout in New Jersey. 2-0. Honestly, I said this to Luds before our pregame show tonight. The Stars have this little cushion between themselves and the rest of the Central because the top 3 teams have some separation. Now, Utah was pretty good to start, then they kind of came back to earth. St. Louis has been awful. I kind of think that they're going to get a little better because of the Montgomery acquisition, but that only goes so far. So we'll see. And look, Dallas lost 2 games in a row. They had won 5 of 6 before that. So they're 5-3 in their last 8. That's a good thing. If they go 5-3 every 8 games, they'll be fine. But yes, you don't like losing to the Chicago Blackhawks, especially in the manner of which they did this.
Well, it's a confidence thing, and again, expectations. I think
at least they didn't score on their own net tonight in the third period on the road in a tie game.
Someone ain't sleeping good tonight.
Charlie Lindgren. If you haven't seen this yet, go search this. Washington Capitals, Charlie Lindgren, who's a great goalie, goes to play the puck in front of his net and tries to backhand wrap it around the goal and puts it in his own net with a 3-3 tie in Tampa in the third period. I think there was about 10 or 12 minutes left.
Did they win that game? You really hope for his sake they won that game so he can laugh at it because otherwise. But they've off to a good. They're doing well. They lost.
They won
it.
Caps won 5-4.
Oh, there you go.
So he can laugh it off.
He can laugh it off.
And they ended up winning.
They're finding ways to win hockey games here this year.
So
they're playing well.
John Carlson tied it at 10:30 unassisted, and then Tom Wilson scored a power play goal at 16:34, and they won. How about that? All right. For those of you that will be eventually watching on our FAST channels, we hope you enjoyed tonight's Dallas Stars postgame show. For the rest of you on YouTube and on the audio stream, we will continue because we've got a moment of the match to talk about here next on the DLS Dallas Stars postgame show. Okay, now we move on. Luddy, I think it's time for the Herman Marshall marquee moment of the game. Pick up your favorite bottle at your closest goody-goody liquor store.
It's hard for me not to go with Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall had a hat trick tonight. His last one was how many years ago?
2013. 11 years ago.
And
11 years ago.
And if you're not
How
watching,
is that even possible?
Look up the Taylor Tyler deal. But so he goes back. He's been in the league a long time. He's had some injuries. And you know what? He seems to be a good dude. And he got sat out a couple games ago.
He got healthy scratched and was upset about it.
Chicago. Yeah.
He said, I wish I had
said
known.
he didn't know. Yeah. Well, the head coach, I heard the interview that he did, and he said it was on him. He needed to be better at,
he took
getting that thing across. So I'll go with Taylor Hall, but I do want to do, I want an honorable mention, and it's for a guy we were just talking about, and it's for Maverick Bourque. That one goal I talked about, that the Blackwell goal, and he's the only player tonight that was not A- for the Dallas Stars. I mean, that's, when you got everybody that's in the wrong neighborhood, So, honorable mention to Maverick.
Yeah, Taylor Hall would be my man of the match. But as far as the Herman Marshall marquee moment, for every bottle of single barrel straight bourbon whiskey, Herman Marshall donates 15% of its revenues to the Guns N' Hoses Foundation of North Texas. For those who went before, stop into your closest goody-goody liquor store to find your favorite bottle. Think you might find Luddy taking off with one of his favorite bottles after this one.
Got to find a way to put that one out of your head.
So I saw somebody in the chat say that DeBoer basically said that was such a bad performance, it's not worth analyzing. Do you buy that?
Well, they're going to analyze it, but trust me, they're going to. But these are the kind for players. These are the kind, when the coaches say that, they take the tapes and they throw them in the garbage can and we move forward. And we're not going to dwell. And they don't have time to dwell on it. So they'll probably try to find a positive way. They know that players don't feel it. They don't have the kind of team that walks away from this game not knowing that it wasn't good enough or it was this or that or it was just one of them. They have a group that this group has higher expectations to let this kind of thing affect you, and you're going to have to park it somehow. And the best way to park it, and you've got a team coming in here, that can score some goals, but they can also give up some goals. So
they can't defend, but boy, do they have a dynamic top group.
Yeah, so we could take the over in the next game.
So I have a question for you about Rope. He didn't play today. We don't know what his status is. We'll find out more on Friday. How much do you think the Stars missed him in the lineup tonight?
Well, they missed the speed because he opens up the ice, and he opens up the neutral zone, and it creates, when he's doing that, more importantly, when he's flying through the middle of the ice and he's getting the puck, he opens up the ice, because early on in this year, he wasn't getting it in the right places for him to keep that speed going through the middle of the ice. And it backs, as defensemen, you have to respect that. There's very few defensemen that are going to try to hold a gap on him and not allow him to get in, and not make contact with him till the tops of the circles. So he opens up the ice for whoever you're playing with, and he can do that on the power play too. He's the kind of guy that I'd be trying to bust him through on a power play.
On the rush.
On the rush. Like, again, a little not so what we do all the time, a little unpredictable.
John, do you want to get into the other content, or do you think we've had enough tonight?
Well, there's at least one thing that we have to do, but I also really want to play this video.
That's why I asked you.
What
because
video?
It's obviously been a very rough night.
The T-Box video.
The which one?
The T-Box.
Oh,
yeah, it's
Lord.
been a rough night for Stars fans, and I think the only
Do you guys
way...
want to end on a good note?
This isn't a good note, but how did this...
The only way we can make it better is by
Why
showing
did I
the
do
Bloods'
that?
bare
Because
feet.
somebody said something about golf today. Right? Didn't somebody say?
No, you brought it up.
No. Somebody in your little fucking group.
You're part of it too.
I caught it.
It's not my little.
It was a group text message thing, and somebody said, we were talking about the defenseman from here.
It's from Joel. It was a Joel.
Yeah, and he says he's got a great swing.
Do you remember the video we showed of his?
I
kid?
do. I remember.
His little boy has a great golf swing for is a year and a half old or something like that.
It was something about what a great swing, and I'm like,
Letty had a response to talk of the 2-year-old's golf swing. Check this out.
All right.
Holy shit! Get ready, boys. Woo! Timber!
Tomahawk.
You smoked that.
Luckily, I don't think we're actually... I think we're good.
Let me ask you
That was on the green.
Is that the usual swing, or did you embellish the leg kick?
Oh, no, that's not the usual.
I was going to say, because that was a lot of fun, but that looked like you were hamming it up.
Well, I had seen somebody do it, and I thought I'd give it a shot. And so my kids
didn't throw you off.
No, it's a baseball swing. Same thing.
It is.
Same kind of thing.
It's the old step and swing.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
The main reason why I wanted to play that was so that I can incorporate these sound drops from Luddy's posse there.
Tomahawk City.
Get ready, boys.
I don't understand
Get ready,
that.
boys.
I don't understand Tomahawk City.
Get ready, boys.
Because you hammered it.
What is that?
Tomahawk City.
Those are that's your golfing buddy's reaction to you hitting. He isolated and clipped them. Play it again.
Get ready, boys.
Get ready,
Tomahawk
boys.
City. Tomahawk City.
That's who you're playing
Tomahawk
golf with.
City. Well, those I think are my kids.
Tomahawk City.
They were probably drinking.
They said it right behind you.
Yeah.
Get ready,
All
boys.
right, folks. Well, thank you. It was a great show tonight.
Well, there is one more thing
We
that
have
we
to finish
we
with something.
unfortunately have
Listen,
to do tonight.
Our producer is writing checks that we haven't even signed off on.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys what happened here. So the CHGO Blackhawks account, I forget exactly what went down with this. Everything's a blur since the. Sorry, I'm looking down here and it's not here, so I must have forgotten to run it into the system.
Jesus.
Hold on.
This is where
I
I'm
have it.
closing
I have
shop
it.
and getting the hell out of
He
here.
should have had another brownie or a piece of pumpkin pie. It was worth it tonight.
Oh no, wait, there it is. It's
There
right.
he
It's right in
found it.
front of my eyes. So, yeah. So they, based on us singing, me singing "Take on Me" on the show the other night, I had said, and this is from Lindsay, who works at the DNVR office, also married to our CEO. So her pouring gasoline on this thing certainly didn't help. But CHGO Blackhawks said, okay, what if we win after I suggested that they have to
You
sing
started
Take
it.
on Me on
Once
the
again,
post-game show.
you
Yep.
started it by saying you guys have to sing "Take on Me" if the Stars win.
True, and the score was also like 5-1 when I said that we would sing Chelsea Dagger as our outro. But I'm being a good sport about it. And I know Luddy isn't going to participate. So if you want to throw me under the bus and make me do it, I'll do it. But, I feel like as a show, this is something that we have to do.
I mean, I don't know the words. I just know the.
Well, we don't have to sing the words. We just have to do the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Luddy?
Do you remember when they were good? It was a beating to hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Guess what? They're not good anymore, but they beat the Stars tonight. Good on them.
Folks, go to bed.
Luddy, they didn't hear you. Your
gotta
mic's
do it
over
with
there.
us,
They
Luddy.
didn't hear you.
Signed off.
Thank you for joining us. We will be here on Friday night. It's an 8 o'clock start. That means a 7:15 pregame show Central Time. We'll see if Sam is recovered from whatever intestinal parasite he picked up in North Carolina.
Bing
or
bang.
maybe in Florida. And how about that? A late little Ludwig from Ardell. Lud's Crush'em drop is causing the sky to fall.
falling.
I don't know what he's referring to. Is he referring to one of these?
Get ready, boys.
No, it's the one that you
Tomahawk
put.
City.
I think that they are going to crush them tonight.
Oh, yeah. I took that off the board in favor of.
Tomahawk City.
You need to get an array that has more than like 6 drops, but we'll work on
I
that.
know, we'll work on it. But
But-
we do have to do the Chelsea Dagger as we sign off. We told him to do it.
Ardell is accusing you of the drop, saying they're going to crush them, and that's causing us to lose.
All right, Owen, let's do it, and then I'll sign us off.
Do we have to?
We have to.
For show solidarity. For Craig Ludwig and John Anderson, I'm Owen Newkirk. Good night.
Well, you must be a girl with shoes like that. I said to know me
All right, I'm
well. I would have sold them to you if I could have just to kept the last of my clothes on. Oh, yeah. All right, I ended it. Oh, I'm still there. Bye.
All city like the mayor.